vocal editing, and we've done some vocal tuning. One of the things we like to do is just concentrate on the vocal sound. A lot of mixers start from the ground up. They build band tremendously. They get a great mix for the band, and then the voice just kind of seems to suffer someplace. Now, we recorded this with a really, really high-end mic. And the room we recorded in, that we had access to, had a little bit of a low-end noise floor. So one of the first things we did was we opened up an EQ, trying to get rid of that rumble. It's below about 100 hertz, and she really does not sing much below that anyway. So that's just a little low-pass filter. And the next thing we wanted to do is just have a little bit of compression. So we're going to add this Renaissance compressor, which I really like the sound of. And not much. Real subtle threshold, subtle ratio, only like 1.5. Sometimes I'll go as high as 2, but we don't really need to with her. She sounds good. Slower attack, fairly quick release, so we're not hearing the compression. Why don't we just talk about bringing the threshold down? Let's bring the threshold way down. And you can feel and hear how that squashes her vocal, even at a ratio of 1.3. Now if I bring this down even further, it just completely squashes the performance of her vocal. So I found with her voice, she has a pretty good self-adjustment on the microphone. So I found a ratio of about 1.5 with a threshold that's a little bit lighter, so I can just see it starting to pull. Just hear it ever so gently, and then slow attack. So it takes a little while for the compressor to catch up to those peaks. That way it's a little gentler feel.
One of the things with compression that a lot of people use it for is to level the vocal, and because a given performer will go way up in volume, way down in volume as they perform, and some are better at getting closer to the mic and farther away from the mic. I've found if you use a compressor that way, you will often lose a lot of human dynamic. So in a situation like this, I'd rather go in and push the volume. If a given line is quiet, or as it turns out, there's a lot going on instrument-wise around them, you will often get a better sound by pushing the volume up in the quiet part rather than overcompensating with a compressor that would do that naturally.
I want to try to get her to sit a little bit more in the mix, maybe up front a little more. So what I'm going to do is use this LA3A, and I'm going to set it in limiter mode. So that's going to set a hard limit to the level or the gain stage of where this thing lives. But it just allows the subtler parts of her voice to pop up front a little bit more. So you can really hear the difference here. One of the great things about Lauren's voice, as you hear it here, is she really has a pure vocal texture, and her pitch is great. She doesn't sound too heady. She doesn't sound too chesty. I mean, there's just, it's not like just coming from her throat. She really has a really nice instrument. So it was easy to capture her. We don't have to do a lot of, I have no real overall EQ on this, other than trying to pull some things out that were a problem with the room, not a problem with her voice. Later on, when we've got the final mix going, maybe we'll put a little sparkle on the top, but I don't even think we're going to need to, because when you listen to this voice, I mean, it's beautiful. You put a little reverb on it, it just sounds classic and beautiful.